As a presenter, you will have to face many types of audiences. Some are more motivated and are really there to learn something. Others are bored and are watching at their clock, waiting till there is a break and they can go to the buffet. But among all these types of audiences, there is one that personally is considered by me the toughest crowd ever. These are the students. Hello successful people, my name is Luminita and today I will share with you my personal favorite 5 easy steps how to elevate your presentation skills and simply rock any presentation given to students, be it university or college students or even high school students. Because again, in my personal opinion, students, especially if you're a student and you're presenting to your fellow students, are the toughest crowd ever. Usually your colleagues are bored, they already know what you'll present about because there was a homework or a topic for the class. They don't really respect you or you don't really present an authority for them because you're colleagues, and why do they have to listen to you? Also, as a student myself, I know how many times I would not feel the need to listen to someone because it looked or sounded boring, and I knew that most probably the information given by my fellow colleagues, no offense, sorry, would not be in the exam, so I would not even take notes of that. Yet in 3 years of high school and 5 semesters of university, I somehow managed to crack the system and find these 5 little things that you can easily do but will definitely grab the attention of your tough crowd, your fellow students. If no one except your professor, or not even your professor, is listening to your presentations, let's get started. And the very first thing that you can do to grab the attention of the students is to create this little special element. It can be connected to your presentation or absolutely unrelated, but it has to be something that your students or your fellow students will notice the moment you come to the front of the class or on the stage. It can be something shiny or bright, like for example, my jacket right now, or some animation on your slides. For example, true story, at my university in one of the courses there was a presentation. So we all had to be in groups and present something. And that was that presentation of, I guess, a boy group. I don't remember the entire group. I don't remember the course. I don't even remember the topic itself. But I clearly remember that during the presentation on the slides, they somehow animated the way or the history how sports cars changed. I might not remember what exactly this presentation was. And honestly speaking, it doesn't even matter, because when you present your paper, your group work to your colleagues or classmates, honestly speaking, your colleagues and classmates are not really your biggest priority, because you need to impress your teacher, except your teacher asks your fellow students to give you a grade. But that's another thing. But usually 98% of the time you present to your colleagues because your professor wants it. What they tell you or if they remember something doesn't influence you. So what you need to do is grab their attention, because then the professors see that your colleagues are interested. Anyways, I might not remember what this topic was about, but I know that I was really watching this presentation the whole, 10 minutes, because I was curious, first of all, that it was moving all the time. Second of all, although I'm not into sports cars, I was still curious where this animation goes. And I still remember who created it. A different example how to even easier create the special, memorable effect or element was again during my student time, when one of the groups that I was part of presented the business model of Raynair. And to make this presentation a little bit more spicy, because everyone knew about it, I think 2 or 3 groups had to present this same business model. I dressed up like a flight attendant. And it was not like a fancy thing, just a hint of the fact that I was a flight attendant. And the way I was presenting or the style of my speech was very familiar or very similar to a flight attendant's speech. Again, my colleagues most probably don't even remember why exactly Raynair has a cost leadership strategy. But they were attentive, they laughed, they looked, and our professor gave us the highest grade. And the last, even easier example how to create this special element that will make everyone curious happened again during one of my presentations in high school when I came in front of my colleagues with an empty cup. And I was talking the whole time holding an empty cup. And everyone was curious what's going on because my presentation, as far as I remember, it was something about personal development. I don't remember. Myself, I don't remember it anymore. But they were all curious what will be the future of this empty cup. And as far as I remember, in the end, I filled it in and that was a moral. But everyone was curious and everyone actually listened. Maybe not remembered, but definitely listened. The second tip, how to make your colleagues or students listen when you are presenting, is connected to a group work or when you present in a group. If you're a group of 5 and you have the possibility to delegate the presentation to only 1 or 2 members, definitely go for it. Because on the one hand side, it will not be so crowded in front of your audience or public or on the stage. And second of all, there is a little trick that it will enhance the presentation even more, but I'll talk about it a little bit later in this video. However, sometimes in some groups, everyone has or feels the need to be in front of everyone and talk. It happens. You cannot do anything against it. Don't even try to fight these people. On the other hand, we also had professors that actually insisted on the fact that everyone in the group presents. Again, just accept this fact. One of the biggest mistakes that I see in these cases is when the whole group, all 5, come in front of the class and align themselves. And there is an extra point or extra bad when people on purpose decide to align themselves in such a way as the presentation body or the presentation structure goes. So I say I have the first part, that's why I speak first. He has the second part, that's why he speaks second. She has the third part, that's why she speaks third, and so on. I'll tell you a little bit later again in this video why this 1, 2, 3 in a row is the worst idea, but let's stick to the alignment first. If you all stay in a line and talk even randomly, it's boring for the eyes of your audience. And they actually see you, they don't sometimes even understand where the sound comes from, they don't understand who is speaking, and if they don't understand, they don't care. What you can do is to separate yourself from the group when it is your time to speak. I would say you can move to the center of the room or on the other side and from there talk. And when you're done, then you can come back to your group and the other colleague moves to that place. This way, your colleagues know exactly where to look to and they know exactly who is talking right now. However, if your classroom is not big enough or the space in front of your classroom is not big enough and you cannot really move or you feel that it's stupid, then even if you're staying in a row, when you are talking, try to make a step forward so that again you are a little bit separated from the rest of the group and people know who is talking right now and people can give you the attention, not the whole group but you. My third tip or the third thing that I want you to remember is that, sorry to say that, but delivery beats content. And again, depends on the context, depends on the subject. Sometimes you would say, wait a minute. If I say stupid things, my professor will give me a bad grade. I don't say that you don't have to have content at all. What I say is that in a ratio, it has to be at least 60-40. 60% delivery, 40% content. I know that for many people this easy thing is so hard to understand because they really prepare good materials, they find really good information, they might even have spent so much time on the slides to make them with the perfect structure and perfect graphics, but they're not listened to, and then they get angry because they think, oh, these people are so stupid, they're not listening to this valuable information. And of course they don't, if you are presenting in a boring way. I can tell you right now the best information on presentation skills, but you will not listen to me if I read from my paper all the time and I speak with this kind of voice. It is really boring to listen to this for 10 minutes, even if right now I would give you the sense of your life and the mystery of Atlantis. If you're in front of university or high school students and you think that people will listen to you just for the purpose of information, so you can really read from your paper, forget it. Come back. The fourth tip that I will present to you has two core benefits. If people were listening to you so far, this little thing that you will do or can do will give this little extra and will make your presentation memorable. And the other case, or the second benefit, is that in case you lost your audience and your colleagues don't listen to you anymore, this little tip will bring their attention back. And this tip is to break patterns. In the book The Storyteller's Secret, the author Carmen Gallo says that the brain settles into comfort mode. Great storytellers make us uncomfortable. They catch our attention by breaking an expected pattern. And you as a presenter sometimes create these patterns without being even aware of that. For example, you have your beautifully made slides that look exactly the same. Everyone knows exactly what comes next. Everyone knows exactly that the next slide will be again a text, or again a graph, or again this. Everyone knows and expects that. How, for example, you can break this pattern is by suddenly one of the slides, or like on one of the slides, insert a meme. So you are talking about a topic and then suddenly you put a meme there that is connected to your presentation that you can integrate into your topic. And this way people are a little bit woken up because their pattern was broken. They expected to be a boring slide again, but it was something funny or something different. And now they will start to listen because their pattern was broken and they want to create a new pattern where they're curious, what if something next or something that you'll say next is even more interesting or more funny. A different pattern that a lot of us unfortunately fall into is the pattern of our voice or the speed of our voice. For example, we always speak with the same speed. That's why people at some point don't even listen to our voice because they got comfortable with the velocity of our voice. That's why in order to break this pattern, you can either at some point speak not so quickly, make more breaks, and this way people will notice that the speed of your talking changed. That means that maybe something interesting comes up, or suddenly you can speak a little bit more quickly. And usually they will not understand what you said, so they will try to pick more attention or to give you more attention because they are suddenly confused. No matter if you're speaking more quickly or not so quickly, all of this or both of these options are pattern breakers. Some other examples of pattern breakers are sudden move, or after just sitting on the chair that you suddenly stand up, or suddenly showing a picture, maybe a graph if you didn't show any graphs so far, maybe a sound, or by showing them a very short, let's say 15 to 30 seconds video. At this point, just be creative because there is no right or wrong solution. Whatever is different than what you usually do or how your presentation goes Whatever is different, that you speak loudly, not so loud, move, or if you move the whole time, if you stand still, no matter what you go, as long as it's unnormal or unusual, it will break the pattern. I told you before that there's an extra argument or extra benefit of only 2 people presenting. And this is what we tested once at the university, and it really worked. So our group had to give a presentation of one type of qualitative methods of empirical research. I can feel you being bored even now by me telling you the topic. However, we wanted it to be more interesting. And out of the whole group, we decided to be only 2 of us presenting. Me, a girl, with a little bit of a rather pitchy voice in that presentation, and a guy with a rather lower voice. And this way, we were presenting just 2 of us, and he was talking for a couple of minutes, and then suddenly I would jump in. And because there was no clear structure, so it was not 2 minutes him, 2 minutes me, it was more for our audience, random, for us not. It made them more interested in what's going on because there were differences in the pitch of our voice, there was some difference in the voice in general, and people were really listening, and again, we got the highest grade. And the last tip to have the best presentation in front of some students is to remember that you are in control. You and only you. You and only you, except maybe with some group members of yours if it was a group work. Only you know how this presentation should have gone. Only you know what slides come next. Only you know what information you were supposed to say. So in case you forgot something or messed something up or something changed or you talked about something instead of something else, except you're really telling this to your audience like, oh, I messed it up, oh, I forgot it. If you don't say it to your audience, they will never find it out. So if you realize that, uh-oh, I forgot something, if it's not important, just leave it. Just move on. Don't show it in your face like, I forgot something. Move on. If you forgot something but it was important, you can say, by the way, speaking of which, and just go back to it without any, I forgot it. Just move on. You're in control. You know your presentation. Nobody knows what you have been supposed to say. And again, as long as you don't show or say it, they will never find it out. All in all, honestly speaking, and I say this from a perspective of a student who was listening to presentation and a student who gave presentations. Students, college, university, and high school students, are the most bored and uninterested people in the world. Maybe your university in your case is different, but again, the majority, they don't need it, they don't want to listen, and for them, in their heads, it's more important to check the notifications on Instagram or TikTok rather than listen to you. That's the sad truth. So it's not that difficult actually to alleviate your presentation because their expectations are already low. Students generally have almost no expectations from you as a student when presenting. They might have these expectations from the professor, but not from you. That's why this really easy 5 tips will not just make your presentation better, it will make you the queen or the king of presenting in your class or group. And all these tips are not just theoretical, they are proven in practice. They all work in 100% of the time. And I cannot emphasize enough how easy they are to implement. You don't have to buy something extra, you don't have to learn something extra. Sometimes you have to do even less than usual. But all these tips will help you get the attention of your fellow colleagues. And again, they might not remember after years what exactly you said, but they will listen you during your presentation, which will give you more confidence to present. And second of all, they will remember what exactly you did or you didn't. If you're a student and you like these tips, give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what other tips you personally are using to get the attention of your fellow students. Click on the bell button to get notified every single time when I post a new video. Videos in this format or with these topics will come up weekly on a specific day, on Tuesday, but do click on the bell button. If you want to learn even more about communication and public speaking, click here and here. Click here to become part of my growing community. Remember that communication builds connections and miscommunication builds a mess. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye!